YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and Week 5 is now upon us. We had a great game last night with the LA Rams and then, of course, the San Francisco 49ers. There was some good gameplay from Jeff Wilson, Deebo Samuel, even Jimmy G looked pretty good. Not so much out of the Rams side. Obviously, we'll talk about that a little bit as far as some start and sits, but I wanted to make sure you guys are ready for this week. Now, these are your top 10 leaders in fantasy so far for the quarterback position. There are definitely some big surprises. You've got Jared Goff at number 5, Geno Smith at number 10. You've got some quarterbacks that you probably drafted pretty early, maybe a Tom Brady, a Dak Prescott, obviously, who's hurt, even Matthew Stafford, who's not even on this top list. So these are your top 10 quarterbacks so far in fantasy. Some really good gameplay, obviously, out of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. And of course, even with Patrick Mahomes not having top tier receivers, is still one of the best quarterbacks in the game, hands down. Now, these are your obvious starters for this week at the quarterback position. I've got Tom Brady, even as a surprise. I've got Aaron Rodgers, even in there. And then, of course, your standards, Joe Burrow, Lamar, Patrick, Jalen Hurts. So these guys will absolutely be some obvious starts for you this week. Now, the first quarterback I mentioned as a good start is going to be Jameis Winston. Now, this is always going to be dependent on his health. He did not play, obviously, last week. But if he does play this week, he's going against the Seahawks. Seahawks are allowing 21.9 points to the quarterback and over 280 passing yards with about 2 touchdowns per game allowed. So this is a good turnaround game for him. I think if he is healthy, I think he'll actually do a pretty good job against this Seattle team that is just underperforming defensively. I'm not saying they're tanking because they're trying to win, but I do think this is a team that is going to struggle. They just allowed 4 touchdowns to Jared Goff. And that was without all of his weapons. That says a lot. So again, Jameis Winston's a really good start this week. Another quarterback as a surprise start is going to be Ryan Tannehill. He's going against the Washington Commanders. The Commanders have actually allowed quite a bit of points. They're averaging 21.4 points to the quarterback. They're averaging 2.5 touchdowns allowed per pass. And then, of course, Ryan Tannehill actually did a pretty good job. He did lose Burks, which did affect him, but he's had 2 touchdowns each of the last 2 weeks, which has put him in about the 18 to 19 point range, which, as far as a starting quarterback at this point, is what you need. You need that kind of stats out of them to get you in a good position to win every single week. So I have Ryan Tannehill as a pretty surprise start, but I just like his matchup against Washington. Another quarterback I have as a good start is our top 5 leader, Jared Goff. Right now, he's going against the Patriots. Patriots are allowing 21.2 points to the quarterback. They're also allowing 2 passing touchdowns per game as well. Goff just came off his 4 touchdown performance, and that was with backups in, obviously Hawkinson, but you had backups in Reynolds. You didn't have Amon-Ra. You didn't have Chark. Now, if he gets Chark or Amon-Ra back, that's just an add-on bonus. I think Jared Goff is being underperformed, or really, I'm seeing him a lot. If you saw our waiver video, he's averaging 40% available in most leagues. So he's someone that should be on your team just because of what he's been able to do. This offense is really performing well. And I think it's because of his name, and I think it's because of the Detroit Lions. People are uncomfortable keeping him in their lineups. And I'm just not seeing why. He is performing really well this season. Again, he's the 5th best quarterback in fantasy right now. And it's kind of a crime to see him out there still in waivers. Now, as far as a quarterback, as far as sitting goes, now this one I'm probably going to get a lot of crap for this, okay? But I have Kyler Murray as a good sit. Now, he did perform really well last weekend, but he's going against the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is obviously a big test for the Eagles as far as a matchup goes. But the Eagles have allowed the 3rd fewest points to the quarterback with only 10.9 points. They're also averaging about 1 interception per game, and they're able to get to the quarterback pretty well in their pass rush, and they're keeping quarterbacks under 200 passing yards. Now, the one benefit that I will give to Murray, and that you may still start him, is the fact that his rushing ability will help keep him in the game. That's one thing the Eagles have not gone against, is a really good running quarterback. So Murray might. And then, of course, if there's a shootout, there's a good chance that they'll keep him continuously passing the ball. But anytime Murray's gone against a pretty tough defense, he's struggled. So I don't like Kyler Murray as a start this week. I actually feel a little more comfortable putting in like a Jared Goff. Now, another quarterback I have as a good sit this week is going to be Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's going against the Denver Broncos. Matt Ryan had a good game this past weekend, and it was more of a fluke just because I think it was more of just a great matchup. The Broncos are a tougher defense. They're only allowing 11.6 points. They're also keeping passers under 200 passing yards, which is a big deal. And then on top of that, there's a good chance Jonathan Taylor misses Thursday's game. And if that is going to happen, then really the focus on the defensive side is going to be focusing on Matt Ryan and making sure that Michael Pittman doesn't get down the field, which they did last week. But this is really a matchup that I think Denver wins on Thursday night. So I'm not really comfortable starting him. You probably haven't started him, but just in case you do. Last quarterback I have as a good sit is going to be Matthew Stafford. He underperformed big time last night against the 49ers. I think he only put up like maybe 2 fantasy points. He struggled to find his receivers. He struggled to get the ball down the field. He just looked uncomfortable. He was getting sacked. And now you're going against the Dallas Cowboys, who actually are one of the better defenses against the pass. Dallas has kept quarterbacks under 200 passing yards. They're also averaging an interception per game so far. They're also keeping quarterbacks at 13 fantasy points, and they're able to get to the quarterback leading the league in sacks. So you've got Michael Parsons on the outside. DeMarcus Lawrence looks like he's young again. You've got Armstrong. You've got, there's a plethora of linemen that they're rotating in and out to get to the quarterback. And this is a game that I just don't feel comfortable starting Matthew Stafford at all this season. Now, as far as some sleepers go, the first quarterback I had as a good sleeper is going to be Carson Wentz. I think a lot of people are kind of off the bandwagon with Carson Wentz, but he's still finishing pretty strong. He's in the top 10 in fantasy leaders. He's going against the Titans, who are allowing a lot of points to the quarterback with 21.6 points. They're also allowing over 290 passing yards, and they're averaging an allowance of 3 touchdowns per game in the passing game. So if there's going to be a turnaround for Carson, this is going to be a good turnaround. Now, if he can't perform this week against the Tennessee Titans, then obviously he's kind of back to his old ways. But a lot of people forget he just played against the Dallas Cowboys, who are one of the better teams in the defensive, stand against the pass. So again, it's not because it's bad Carson Wentz. It's just a bad matchup. Another good matchup I think is going to be a good sleeper is Derek Carr going against Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are allowed the 5th most points to the quarterback with 22.1 points. They're also averaging allowance of 280 passing yards to the quarterback. Carr also should have Renfrow back, which will help him a lot. And I think this would be a good one. This can be a really good shootout for Monday night between obviously Derek Carr and Patrick Mahomes. This has got to be a game for Derek Carr to turn around because he has struggled. But he did put up about 18 points this last weekend. So I really like him as a good sleeper. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for you guys for week 5 for the quarterback position. If you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. And make sure that notification bell is on. That way you guys are notified every time we drop a video just like this. And of course, if you enjoy the content, make sure you hit the like button. If you guys do have questions, always hit us in the comments down below. We love answering your guys' questions for your lineups, trades, whatever it might be. Of course, you can always follow us on our socials. We're on Twitter and Instagram as well. If you guys have not already, make sure you check out our waiver wire video. Waivers should be dropping tomorrow as far as what you're getting. So make sure you check out that video as well. And I'll check you guys out next time.